this computer. There it is. Okay. Should be recording.
Nobody on the Zoom, I'm surprised.
Okay. Okay.
There's lots of pizza, guys, so help yourself, won't you? I'm just gonna do it just to keep it warmer.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. Whoops. Okay. All right, good. You can all see that. Excellent. All right. Sorry about all that. Technology is certainly fun at times, isn't it? My name is Tori Benzing. I'm one of the financial aid counselors here at the University of Findlay. And all of you are obviously pharmacy students. Are you P3s or P4s? Mostly 4s and 5s in here? Okay. Well, there are a couple of things I'll go over for the P4s in particular, but I will address some things for P3s and even graduate students, the P5s and 6s. Okay, so this is going to be a quick overview of what we're going to be covering. So we're going to talk about some of the changes to the FAFSA and some of the changes you'll have to make if you're a P4 going into a P5 program from your undergraduate to graduate program. And we'll also cover a couple other things that are going on with financial aid as in you as a pharmacy student. So if you're a class of 2005, you're obviously a P6. And if you're a class of 2026, you're going to be you're a P5. So those are your two graduate years. Obviously, all of you know that already. But just stating things for students that are going to be watching this later in the recording. So on here, you can see the new page for the FAFSA on studentaid.gov. What you'll just do is you'll go into the top right where it says FAFSA form. There will be a new FAFSA form. They just created one for the upcoming school year, 2004-2005. It is a little different, but for the most part, you should be able to fill things out the same way you always have. There will just be a couple of different changes on how they ask questions, stuff like that. But for a lot of you, for P4s in particular, going into P5s, you won't need your parents' information or anything like that. And obviously for P5s and P6s, you don't need your parents' information anyway. But for Ps 1 through 4, you will still need your parents' information. For the most part, when you're filling out the FAFSA, the FAFSA should be linking up your parents' information, their tax information on there automatically. If not, then there's stuff you'd have to input. So obviously P5 is your graduate students. And regardless if you have a bachelor's degree or not, you are a graduate student. I know the program was just recently changed so that P1 through 4, you'll actually be getting a degree, an undergraduate degree from the university. But those that are P5s, obviously you didn't get one from the university, but you're still graduate students. So none of you should be like affected by these changes for the most part. You'll still be P4s going into P5s. You're still going to be graduate students. Those are mostly changes for like upcoming students, for future students. So P3s going into P4s, they're still considered undergraduate students, and they will be getting a bachelor's degree, as I stated. In the past, there was a couple changes we had to do to update this process of pharmacy students, P1s through 4s, getting a graduate degree, an undergraduate degree, sorry. That process has completed, so everything should run smoothly now. Hopefully smoothly for everybody. Again, if there's any students who were in a different program, if they already got a degree and they're coming to the university to do their pharmacy programs, they'll come in as like P3s or P4s. They will still be considered graduate students, even though they're a P3 or a P4. So they'll be getting graduate aid, while P1 through 4 in the standard program will just be getting undergraduate aid. So there's just a couple of the changes for the FAFSA. P4s going into P5s, there's just a couple of things you need to change on your FAFSA. When it's stating what year you're going to be, you're going to state that you're a graduate student, a first-time graduate student, and that you're going to be going for your master's or doctorate degrees. Any P5s or P6s, you're not changing anything. It should still be just like that. For Ps 1 through 3, you're still undergraduate students. You'll state what year you are, freshman, sophomore, junior. And same with a P3 becoming a P4, you'll state that you're a senior. But you'll still be treated as undergraduate students. So you'll just fill it out like you are an undergraduate student. Obviously, any P4s going to P5s, you don't need your parents' information. Ps, 5s, and 6s, you guys already know you don't need your parents' information because you're already graduate students. So I'm going to talk a quick bit about some of the scholarships, loans, other stuff that you can get to help fund your undergraduate and graduate careers here. So any Ps 5s and P6s, there really isn't any institutional aid from the university for the most part. You will need to get loans either from the federal government or through private companies. So there isn't, and even with federal aid, you don't get stuff like Pell Grants anymore, or Ohio College Opportunity Grants if you're from Ohio. You would just be receiving loans. So P1 through 4, as you're treated as an undergraduate student, you can get stuff like Pell Grant, Ohio College Opportunity Grant, stuff like that. And you would receive federal loans. Anything that states that is subsidized or unsubsidized, those are loans. So if you accept those, you will have to pay those back later. Usually you have to start paying back about 6 months after you leave school, not start school. So 6 months after you graduate, you'll have to set up a payment plan. If it's federal loans, it'd be through the federal government. They'll tell you which company is currently holding your loans, and you would set up a payment plan through them. If you have any private loans, you go to that company's website, and then you'll set up a payment plan through them as well. Also, you are required to do that, especially when you sign the master promissory notes in order to get the loans to begin with. So for graduate students, from the federal government, you receive $20,500 each year in federal loans, and you can receive additional loans from a Grad Plus loan. I'm sure most of you already have a Grad Plus loan if you're a P5, but that is another way to receive additional aid if you need it. For Ps 1 through 4, since you're undergraduates, you could get a Parent Plus loan. That is taken out in the parent's name, not your name. A Grad Plus loan is taken out in your name. So you would need your parent to actually fill out a Parent Plus loan. Obviously, there are plenty of private loan options out there. We partnered with a company called Fast Choice. We have a page on their site where you can look through, I believe it's 14 different private loan vendors. And you can see their various different interest rates, fees, stuff like that. And you can even apply through the site. So if you ever want to get a private loan, undergraduate or graduate, there are options on there that you can see. And for graduate students, if you are in your clinicals, you can still receive federal loan aid from us. So this is mostly for like P1 through 4s, but looking at the bottom of the page there are several different sites that you can go to look at scholarships. For grad students, there aren't as many graduate scholarship options, but there are still some out there at various sites, like the ones that are below. So you can always check those out too, if you're looking for a scholarship, perchance. If I'm going too fast for anybody, just let me know and I can like slow down or go back to a previous screen, okay? Okay, so these are various loan rates and fees. Now, these are slightly outdated because this is the current year for 23-24. I've put those up here just so you can see. The ones for next school year, 24-25, don't get released until July. But when you're going through federal loans, so here are the current instant rates for graduate loans is 7.05%. And for any sort of federal loan, regardless of if it's subsidized or unsubsidized, parent or grad plus, there is an origination fee attached to it. So if it's any loan you get from your FAFSA, so when you're filling out the FAFSA, that 20,500 for the P5s and P6s, the origination fee right there is currently 1.057%. So whatever you accept, the federal government will take out 1.05% and you get the rest. So if you're looking at a graduate plus loan, for example, the interest rate here is 8.05%, but the origination fee is 4.228%. So it is higher for grad plus loans. And that's also the same case for parent plus loans. So with private loans, obviously I didn't put anything up there because it depends on the lender itself. And I don't really have room to put like 14 different lenders up there. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. But again, if you check out the site, Fast Choice, we actually have the link right here. Well, we should be sharing this PowerPoint presentation too later on for you. So that you should get this link, but if you want to like take a picture or whatever right now, you can. When it comes to federal loans, like I said before, there is a 6-month grace period after you graduate. So you have 6 months before you have to start paying back the loans. For private loans, it's a little different. It depends on the lender. Most of them are, again, 6%, but there are some, not 6%, 6 months. But some can be as short as 3 months. Some can extend to like 9 months. So it really just depends on the lender, and they will tell you upfront what the grace period is on the loans. When it comes to private loans, there is no origination fee. However, with federal loans, there is always the possibility that those get redeemed. Where the federal government will pay part of what you owe, that kind of thing. With private loans, that's not the case. You will have to pay those back. Does anyone have any questions so far? No? Okay. So, for any other additional steps, most of you already know this. When it comes to your graduate and subsidized loans, that's through the FAFSA application. You have to sign a master promissory note and entrance counseling to get those. To do a graduate plus loan, there is a graduate plus application you do on the same site with the FAFSA, and you will have to do a separate plus master promissory note. As for private loans, that's completed through a lender application. If they request any documentation, you will have to submit it through them. So another option is employment. So there is the possibility of being employed here at the university. So there is graduate assistantship where you work here at the university. And you can apply for this through the university website. There will be a process. You will be treated as an employee of the university. You'll be handled through HR. And there are waivers that can be applied to your account to help cover part of your tuition costs when you're a graduate assistant. And of course, the process itself is run through academic affairs, but you will, if you have like any questions about the job itself or whatever, those are usually handled by HR. Okay, so does anybody have any specific questions? Yes.
But you mentioned the Fast Choice private loan lender you guys are connected to.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like their rates by any chance?
So Fast Choice itself isn't a loan lender. It's like an aggregate site that has all that information on there. So you're not getting a loan through Fast Choice. They just have various different private loan companies. They have their information on there. And once you're on the site, you'll be able to see we have 14 on there right now. There's a ton more out there. That's just who we have on the site. If you want, you could always try and go through like your own bank currently or a credit union that you have. You can see if they're willing to give a loan out to you. Or you can look at other different companies. We just have 14 on the site to make it easier for students to find a private loan if they want one or need one. But when you're looking at the sites, they will tell you the rates and fees for each loan provider. They'll show a range of what they are because it is based on a credit report. They do a credit check when you apply. So there's generally a range of what it could be, and they'll show you what the range is. So you won't know what the exact like interest rate would be for the loan, but you will know what kind of ranges there are for it. And there's also fixed rate and varied rates. Does everybody know the difference between a fixed rate and a varied rate? Would you like me to explain it? I can explain it to you if you're okay with that. Okay. So a fixed rate, which all federal loans are fixed rates, is whenever you apply for the loan, whatever interest rate they give you is the one you're locked into. It will not change under any circumstances unless you like consolidate your loans, something like that. But otherwise, the rate stays the exact same. So when I was showing you those rates before of like 7%, that's what it will be the entire time. It will not change. A varied rate is they'll give you an initial rate, and over time that rate can fluctuate. It can go up or it can go down. It depends on the market. So it's up to you which one you would prefer to choose. All right. Any other questions? As far as I'm aware, no. There are no penalties. You're not forced to pay them back early if you want to. You don't have to set up a payment plan early either. So if you have enough money to say, oh, I can pay 500 this month, but I can't do anything next month, it's fine. You can still pay $500 back. Or let's say I can do 500 this month, but I can only do 200 next month. That's fine. There's no penalties for paying some of it back early. Or paying all of it back early, if you can do that, which, I mean, good for you if you can. But there are no penalties to pay it back or start paying it back early. It's after that grace period ends, you are required to start paying it back. You will have to set up a payment plan for it. But to start early, no, there's no penalties. Any other questions? None? Nobody?
Graduate Plus funds only cover the remaining portion of your loan, or can you take out more to cover like living expenses?
That's a good question. Yes, you can. So, any additional loan you get, whether it's a Parent Plus, Graduate Plus, or even a private loan, you can take out more to not only cover your remaining costs, but additional costs. For like living expenses, like rent, for example. You can get up to your cost of attendance, which is the sort of cap that the university sets for how much aid a student can get, as well as how much anything could possibly cost at the university. So while you're living on campus, for example, you will have housing charges on your account because you're living here on campus. If you're living off campus, you don't have those housing charges, but we do have a separate cost set aside for students that are living off campus. It's set up in your cost of attendance. It's an indirect cost that we have in the calculation. So if you ever need additional money, you can take out additional aid to help cover that. If for whatever reason, like what additional amount you get isn't enough, there are ways to try and increase the cost of attendance so you can get more out of the loan. That's called a cost of attendance appeal. And you do that through us, the university, the financial aid office. So if you're getting an amount and it's not enough for whatever reason, you can always try and do a cost of attendance appeal to increase your cost of attendance so you can get more loan aid out of it. Yes.
So the Grad Plus loan, that's like through the federal government,
Mhm.
that's no longer based on like our parents' demographics or anything like that.
Nope, it is solely based on you.
It makes like, it's like I'm employed. So, like,
Mhm.
so you said like I can like get more than I like, I'm trying to figure out how it works, I apologize.
No, you're fine.
So I used the Grad Plus loan this year,
Mhm,
even though like I still had my undergrad scholarship from the university.
mhm.
And so like, is that gonna be the same amount that I get, that amount that I got this year? Is that gonna be the same amount I get next year, or can I get more now that I'm losing that undergrad scholarship I have?
So when it comes to the Grad Plus loan, it can change each year depending on how much your charges are, as well as like what you actually apply for. When you're applying for a Grad Plus loan or a Parent Plus loan, they both work the same way. When you're filling it out, you're given 3 options to choose from when it's asking how much you want to take out. First one is a specific amount, so you can state that, oh, I just want $20,000. When you are doing that, keep in mind the origination fee that's up there. So you're asking for 20,000, but they're going to take 4.2% out of that. So if you want a very specific amount, try and keep that calculation in mind. The second option is to state that you just want your charges covered. So whatever your charges are from the university, when we see that from your Grad Plus loan, we will adjust the loan itself to cover your charges from the university. You won't get anything else, so no refunds or anything like that, but you will be fully covered from your school charges. The other option would be the max amount. So you're taking out the max amount that you can from the plus loan that year. So you're not taking out like the absolute maximum amount that you can take, which is like 200 something thousand dollars or whatever. I'd have to double check like what the actual limit is. You're just taking out enough up to your cost of attendance. So whatever your cost of attendance is, your plus loan will go up to that amount of whatever that is. So if you're doing like a cost of attendance appeal because you need additional aid for like your housing expenses or stuff like that, well, if you get a higher amount on your cost of attendance, then your plus loan will increase to match that. If you choose like the max amount. So the max is fairly easy for us to adjust. For like if any reason you, so let's say you only want $1,000 in a refund. For whatever reason it is, you can still pick max and then let us know that you only want $1,000 in a refund. And we will adjust the loan to make sure you just get $1,000 in refund. So the max is usually the option we tell students to take, just so that we can handle the calculations, all that. And you can get the amount of refund you want or don't want if you just want your charges covered. So for you, for example, so your plus loan will increase next year because you won't have that scholarship, but it will still be covering like the same amount of money. Depending on how you fill it out, of course. So it depends on how you fill out the plus loan itself. Any other questions? Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, so the school, so student loans are set for the school year. So school year is fall, spring, summer. So if you took out a loan to cover the school year, it will also go into summer. Federal loans, as well as private loans, can go into the summer semester and cover your costs for rotations. Any other questions? Well, if you do have any other questions, you can always drop by our office in Old Main. We're on the first floor. You could always give us a call. You can send an email. We are through Starfish if you want to set up an appointment that way, but you don't need an appointment if you just want to drop in for a quick question. All right. Well, I hope I was a help to everybody with your questions. And I hope you have a good rest of the day and enjoy your pizza. I'm a little jealous.
Will the reporting be sent out at our stuff to you?
We'll get, I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna be sent out, but we'll send it to you, right? Will you send that to either me or Stephanie?
I can send the presentation. I'll have to check the recording, but I sure will be able to send it
Right. 'Cause
to you.
Get into the Zoom.
Oh,
So the- trying to get into Zoom, but just so the recording. I think that's.
let's see here. Oh, a student just popped up. Okay. Sorry, I had to admit them. Whoops.